Good evening and welcome to our nightly telecast of Just the News, where we give you all of the information you need to know about what's going on in the country in about 10 minutes. We also throw in some news from science and technology and news from across the world as well. I must warn you before we get started, the news is a little grim today. Well, to start off, India now is the world's second worst affected country from COVID. India has reported 1,68,912 cases in the last 24 hours, taking our tally of total cases for the pandemic altogether well past 13.5 million. We've overtaken Brazil to become the second worst affected country in the world. The United States remains the worst affected country with 31.2 million cases. Now, apart from Maharashtra, which is the worst affected state in the country, there's been a sharp increase in caseload reports in states like Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Visuals that were doing the rounds on social media that caused a lot of concern today were from the Kumbh Mela held in Uttarakhand. Now, as per local authorities in Uttarakhand, more than 31 lakh people took part in the traditional snan in the Ganga up till 6 p.m. today. So that's 31 lakh people in just one day. The Kumbh Mela Inspector General Sanjay Gunjal admitted that it was difficult for the police to enforce social distancing norms because of the sheer size of the crowd that had gathered and the possible risk of a stampede. He told the ANI, and I quote, "We are continuously appealing to people to follow COVID-19 appropriate behavior, but due to the huge crowd, it's practically impossible to issue challans today. A stampede-like situation may arise if we try to enforce social distancing at the ghats, and we are unable to enforce social distancing here," end quote. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan of the central government has sent a letter to the Uttarakhand Chief Secretary that said that as many as 20 pilgrims are being reported COVID-19 positive every day at the Kumbh. The authorities have said, though, that a negative RT-PCR test report no older than 72 hours is being asked of every arrival of the devotees as mandatory. The Kumbh Mela is a pilgrimage held every 12 years at the riverfront of the Ganga in India. Uttarakhand reported 1,333 new COVID cases on Sunday, taking the total active cases right now to 7,323. India has, in the meantime, banned the export of the antiviral drug Remdesivir. Social media and press reports carry stories right now of family members of patients across the country who are struggling to source this antiviral drug, which is being used as treatment for COVID. In a statement, the government said today that as of the 11th of April, there are 11 lakh active cases in the country and they're steadily increasing, and this has led to a sudden spike of demand for the injection of Remdesivir. There is a potential of further increase of demand in the coming days. The government has also said that the manufacturers of the drug have been asked to show details of their stock list and distributors on their website. Drug inspectors and other officers are being asked to verify stocks and check malpractice and stop hoarding. According to India Today, India exported 11 lakh injections of Remdesivir in the last 6 months to over 100 countries. The Drug Controller General of India, the DGCI, has approved emergency use of Russia's Sputnik V COVID vaccine. Last week, Hyderabad-based pharmaceutical company Dr. Reddy's Laboratories had asked the government for approval to use the vaccine in India. The Russian Direct Investment Fund partnered with Dr. Reddy's in September last year to conduct trials for this particular vaccine in India. According to the interim analysis of the phase 3 trials, Sputnik V has reported an efficacy rate of 91.6%. That's similar to Covishield and Covaxin. This is a 2-dose vaccine. The second dose needs to be taken on the 21st day. The chief scientist of the World Health Organization, Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, has cautioned against a full lockdown in India and said the consequences could be terrible. In an interview with the Indian Express, she has said, and I quote, "We have to manage the second wave before thinking of a third wave until enough people are vaccinated. There definitely can be more waves in the pandemic," end quote. In the meantime, the central government has pulled up Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh and Punjab for failures in controlling COVID. The high-level multidisciplinary public health teams that were deployed by the central government to Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh and Punjab have said that there are flaws in handling of COVID situations in these states. In Maharashtra, the team has pointed out that containment operations were found to be suboptimal. They also said there's a lack of oxygen supply, manpower and malfunctioning ventilators were a major concern. The Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan wrote to the Chhattisgarh government saying containment zones are not being followed and the RT-PCR tests have decreased in the state. For Punjab, the central government has said contact tracing is not being done in many districts and RT-PCR testing has also decreased. I must warn our viewers before we go any further that the next pieces of news might be distressing and triggering for many people. The situation of crematoriums in the city of Surat in Gujarat is worrying as the city has witnessed a spike in deaths. Stories are now emerging from Surat, Ahmedabad, Rajkot and Vadodara, according to the Times of India, where crematoriums are backed up because of a sheer rise in number of deaths. Families in Surat are now having to use diesel and kerosene to burn the funeral pyres of their loved ones instead of the traditional ghee, as several crematoriums in Surat are facing a deficit of dry wood, and the wet fresh wood that they're using takes longer and is more difficult to burn. According to the Times of India, crematoriums are now setting up additional infrastructure to meet the demands that they're now facing. The Times of India also reports that crematoriums in Surat, which are equipped with gas furnaces, are being used for cremations around the clock, 24/7 for several days. Due to this, the iron frames on which the bodies are placed inside the gas furnace have begun to melt in 3 crematoriums in the city. In neighbouring Bardoli town, where bodies were being taken from Surat because of the demand, this problem has now started to surface as well. Along with the melting of the steel frames, the burners also require frequent maintenance, which is not possible because they're being used around the clock. According to the Times of India, an official from the Ramnath Ghelka crematorium in Surat said earlier, under normal circumstances, they would cremate 20 bodies a day, and of which a few would use the wooden pyre and the others would use gas. But now they're handling over 80 bodies on a daily basis. Each furnace is being used 24/7, and that is the reason why the iron frames have begun to melt and break. The state government in Gujarat, though, has maintained that the COVID death toll in the state on Sunday was 54. On Sunday also, the Gujarat High Court took suo motu cognizance of what was going on in the state and pulled up the state government for issues being faced by citizens, saying that reality is contrary to the government's claims, while observing that the media reports on the pandemic indicated that the state is heading towards a health emergency. The High Court said, and I quote, "The situation is quite different than what you are claiming. You're saying that everything is all right, but reality is contrary to that." End quote. The court also observed a trust deficit among people, saying people are currently cursing the government is cursing the people, this will not help, we need to break the chain of this infection. During the hearing today, the Gujarat High Court asked the state government to file a detailed affidavit by the 15th of April on measures the authorities are taking to control the pandemic. The bench of Chief Justice Vikram Nath expressed displeasure with certain policies of the state government regarding the tracking of the pandemic and said corrections were required. The city unit of the Surat BJP was seen distributing 1,000 vials of remdesivir injections for free. This raised a lot of questions about how the party managed to procure this drug in large quantities during a statewide shortage. Now, while the party sources claimed they had placed an order for 5,000 injections, they were only trying to help needy people. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani has said the government had not supplied the drug to the party unit. BJP State President C.R. Patil, according to the Times of India, has said the injections were procured by some friends in the city. Today is the second day of the vaccine festival, or the Tika Utsav, which was initiated by the Prime Minister. However, several states are still complaining of a shortage of vaccines. Uttarakhand State Immunization Officer Dr. Kuldeep Singh has said the state demanded 10 lakh COVID vaccines but received only 1,38,000 doses. Out of 697 vaccination centres in the state, the vaccination drive was halted in 178 centres as there was a deficit in the vaccine supply. Several vaccination centers in Rajasthan, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh had to stop the drive midway because stock ran out. Maharashtra Health Minister Rajesh Tope has said an appropriate decision regarding the lockdown in Maharashtra will be announced or taken after the 14th of April. This comes after the Chief Minister of Maharashtra conducted a meeting with the state task force on Sunday, and rumours of a lockdown came out of that meeting. The Health Minister has said the duration of the lockdown, how to handle its economic fallout, was discussed during the meeting, and the task force is of the view that the prevailing coronavirus situation in the state is such that a lockdown is in fact required. The Maharashtra Education Minister has announced that the state board examinations for Standard 10 and Standard 12 will be postponed. Standard 10 examinations will be held in June and 12 will be held in May. The State Education Minister Varsha Gaikwad has said the present circumstances are not conducive to holding examinations. She's also said that she's written to the boards of CBSE, ICSE and Cambridge to ask them to postpone exams as well. In Mumbai last week, vaccinations at 72 private hospitals were shut because of a shortage of the vaccine. 62 of those centers have now been reopened after receiving fresh supply. The Mumbai civic body, the BMC, has received 99,000 doses of Covishield vaccine on Saturday. A quick look at all of the restrictions being announced today by various state governments. People travelling to Himachal Pradesh from Punjab, Delhi, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh now have to carry an RT-PCR negative test not older than 72 hours. Rule will be applicable from the 16th of April. Uttar Pradesh has imposed a night curfew in several of its districts from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. including Agra, Mirzapur, Sultanpur among others. The state has also closed schools and coaching centres up to class 12 until the 30th of April. The Karnataka Chief Minister has said the state could impose a lockdown if the need arises. According to the PTI, the Chief Minister has said people need to respond for their own good. If they don't heed, we will have to bring in stringent measures, and if required, we will impose a lockdown. Let's take a look at news now apart from COVID and lockdowns. Residents of 12 Meghalaya villages are opposing a hydroelectric project on the Imgot River, which is considered India's cleanest river. On Friday, the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board scheduled a public hearing on the project, which is to be executed by the Meghalaya Energy Corporation Limited. Hundreds of people obstructed the officers from conducting that public hearing. Locals fear that if the project is executed, it will cause irreparable losses by wiping out their areas from the tourism map, besides affecting many villages downstream that are dependent on the river. According to project documents, 13 villages along the Imgot River are likely to lose 296 hectares of land because they will be submerged when the dam comes up. In Jammu and Kashmir, 5 militants, including a 14-year-old boy, were killed in 2 separate encounters with forces in South Kashmir. The death toll of militants in this region has now gone up to 12 in the last 72 hours. The 14-year-old boy had gone missing 2 days ago and reportedly had joined a militant group. Following inputs from intelligence of presence of militants in the area, a joint team of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, the Army and the paramilitary forces began a cordon and search operation on Saturday in the Riban village of South Kashmir. According to an official statement released by the security forces, the police said the militants were given the opportunity to surrender, especially the 14-year-old boy whose family was called to the location to persuade him to surrender, but the militants started firing on the forces, injuring 2 soldiers, following which the encounter took place. Let's take a look at news coming in from the world of business right now. Billionaire Gautam Adani has announced that Flipkart and the Adani Group have inked a deal where Adani Connects will build Flipkart's new data center in Chennai. As part of the deal, Adani Logistics will also build Flipkart's 534,000 square foot fulfillment center in Mumbai. Flipkart has said the facility will enhance local employment and create 2,500 direct jobs and 1,000 indirect jobs. News from around the world at this point. The European Union's foreign policy chief, Joseph Borrell, has said Russia and China are blocking efforts at the UN Security Council to impose an arms embargo on Myanmar. He has said that both of these countries are keen on protecting their strategic interests, as China is Myanmar's largest weapon supplier, followed by Russia. Meanwhile, 80 people have been killed by in Myanmar's central town of Bago on Friday during clashes between the military, police forces and protesters. Interesting story coming in from the world of science. Under the Artemis program, sponsored by the Biden-Harris administration, NASA now plans to land astronauts on the south pole of the moon by 2024. Reports also say these astronauts are likely to be a woman and a person of color, will both be a first for our time. The mission is regarded as a step towards diversity in the space program. And one piece of positive information before we let you go for the day. Electric ride-hailing mobile app Blue Smart Mobility has said that in 45 days it will open 130 electric vehicle fast charging stations around the city of Delhi. Now, the Delhi government had reached out to various companies to help boost charging docks across the city as part of its electric vehicle policy. Now, this policy basically meant that the Delhi government would shift all of its official vehicles to electric vehicles within the next 5 months. Now, these charging stations, payment will be accepted through the Blue Smart app. The Delhi government has launched its electric vehicle policy in August last year with an aim to drive a transition from the current fossil fuel to electric vehicles. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for listening. Do share this with other people who might find this useful. Source articles of all of these stories are in the description of the video on YouTube. And I'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Stay safe and stay home. Don't go out if you can't help it.